I love when these old school brands are reinventing themselves in Web3 and finding relevance. And if you grew up in the 80s or were born in the 80s or even before that, Toys R Us is just one of those brands that absolutely just brings goosebumps to you. It just gives you warm, fuzzy feelings, especially this time of year, because finally you can get something from that store rather than just walking through and just wishing and hoping that you'd finally get one, especially if you came from my neighborhood where Toys R Us was like a pipe dream. A lot of the things that were in there we couldn't afford, but seeing the brand come back and having relevance in Web3 is just so exciting to me. Today, we're going to discuss their latest development, launching an NFT project in partnership with the Anybody's. Hello, I'm Taj, digitally known as Tropic Vibes, the host of Nifty Business, where we highlight NFTs and explore Web 3.0 as we move from pure speculation to creating real-world value. So during this time of year, a lot of people like to take Mariah Carey out of their vault and get those Christmas jingles out of the way. But you know what? If you were a kid in the 90s, one song that should put a smile on your face was especially powerful during this time of the year.
I don't wanna grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't wanna grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got the best for so much less. You really flip your lid. From bikes to trains and lots of games. It's the biggest toy store there is. I don't wanna grow up, 'cause maybe if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid.
I wanna be a Toys R Us kid.
That seems so great. But as far as what's going on here in Web3, it is just very exciting to be able to present another Toys R Us related episode. All the way back on episode 333, I announced how there was a partnership with Gary V's V Friends, and those plush toys were going to be an exclusive release with Toys R Us in partnership, and I thought that was just great. So now another partnership is coming in with the Anybody's, which describes himself as being a creative agency building next-gen Web3 experiences. And of course, what better way to do that in Web3 than to have an NFT project and build a community around it? And that's exactly what the Anybody's did. The first access went out to Anybody's NFT holders. But this Toys R Us partnership has so many layers to it, so I'm going to actually breeze through the different elements and just comment on what really jumps out to me, because certain things are very exciting. So the goal of this project is to create next-gen toy ownership using NFTs, NFC, and AR technology to bring toys into your favorite games, social media, and more. So what does all of that mean right there? So as far as NFTs, we know those are the non-fungible tokens. If you're listening to this show, pretty much you know what an NFT is. But NFC, which is near-field communications, that's what devices use for certain things such as tap payments. The most common application is when someone uses their cell phone to make a payment for coffee or something of that nature, such as a Google Wallet or Apple Pay. Well, how that works is using this technology that allows those transactions to go through without a physical card or anything like that. But also this is used to pair different devices and so forth, similar to how Bluetooth can work, but this is simplifying it, of course. So integrating that with toys using NFTs, very interesting there. And of course, AR, something I speak about all the time, which is augmented reality. VR is that virtual world. You're putting on the goggles and you're just immersed in that world, the quote unquote metaverse. But AR is overlaying something somewhat like a Snapchat filter or any kind of NFT such as Chibi Labs or any of those that I often speak about, where you can have them dancing, running around in the field or doing whatever it is using your camera phone and overlaying that on the real world. So it looks like that image is actually there. Well, they're integrating all those things into toys through this whole experience. In addition to that, they're going to have in real world experiences. So they're going to collaborate with various NFT projects, and they're going to bring their collections to life as limited edition physical toys for these stores. So just like they did with V Friends earlier this year, they're going to do that going forward with other collections. And of course, the holders of this particular NFT is going to have access to that. So I'm assuming, based on this information, let's say they partner with one of these major projects, such as the Lazy Lions or the Pudgy Penguins or any of these that have a lot of marketability and can really release some stuffed toys or whatever it might be, action figures that has mass appeal. They get into these stores. Well, not only are those NFT holders going to have access to it, but also the holders of this Toys R Us NFT. So that's very interesting there. And of course, would this really be Web3 without a Web3 shopping experience? Well, they're offering what is going to be dubbed as a flagship, or I should say a digital flagship Toys R Us store. And it's going to be built in your favorite games. and you're going to be able to buy toys like you've never done before. So I'm seeing something such as a Decentraland, which is one of those quote-unquote metaverse worlds, or even Other Side, which Basie is building, or I should say Yuga Labs. Within those worlds, you can have a store featuring these Toys R Us products, which is very interesting there. How they're going to do that, whether it's going to be a mix of digital and phygital, digital and physical, quote unquote phygital. I've been spending way too much time in Twitter Spaces, as you can see. I'm already saying words like phygital that would just cause people to raise their eyebrows and run the other way if I ever said that offline. But of course, that's going to be integrated into this. And what is a Solana project without some coins, right? So there's going to be G coins. I'm guessing that's named after Jeffrey, the mascot, the long-necked giraffe. Well, there's going to be a token and staking your digital collectibles, in this case, these NFTs. Of course, I love the fact that they're using the word digital collectibles, something that was way back on wax when I first came into the space. However, it seems like things are coming full circle now that NFTs have sort of gone through their winter, have left some bad taste in people's mouth. They're going back to this whole digital collectibles world. Of course, Meta is using that on Instagram, on Facebook. So who knows, maybe 2023 is going to be a return to that digital collectibles phrase. But anyways, holding those in your wallet is going to get you these. This, your typical staking, very familiar with that as far as Solana projects. Then it also gives you the ability to unlock these unique experiences that include VIP access to the Toys R Us flagship stores, exclusive shopping events, and more one-of-a-kind experiences within the Toys R Us ecosystem. And especially now that these stores are returning, at this point mostly within Macy's stores as like a sub-store, I'd love to see what that's going to develop into. Because I believe eventually at some point, there's going to be some major flagship stores in certain locations, just like an Apple store. And it might just be locations such as New York City, Tokyo, Paris, London, and so forth, just being basically like a throwback toy store tourist attraction, but who knows? I'm just excited to know that there's still toy stores going to be around in the future. But I say the best for the last. The thing that I'm most excited about is this whole marketplace concept that they're putting together. It's going to be a token-gated marketplace that allows you to buy, sell, and trade your physical and digital toys. And you're going to get early access to toys and so much more according to what they're planning to do. Now, that's very interesting to me because they're tying in the digital and the physical in a unique token-gated marketplace. So I'm really excited about this. This old school brand that went through bankruptcy, went through the ringer, is coming back, really inventing itself and diving in headfirst into Web3, and I think for the most part they're doing this right. Rather than these legacy brands coming into the space and just trying to release a collection and make it a collector's item, the nostalgia just playing on the fact that us born before the 90s have just such great memories of Toys R Us and maybe selling some collectible giraffes and so forth. They're actually going to have a whole bunch of utilities, and they're doing things like this marketplace, which to me is the best part of it. So I went through all the utility and all these different things that will be going down and associated with this. So now I'm going to actually speak about the NFTs itself, because I thought it was just interesting to highlight all of that stuff before getting to the point of they're releasing a bunch of tokens with giraffes in goofy outfits such as an astronaut, a trooper, a gamer, a captain, city boy, firefighter, a superhero, which I kind of like, along with the astronaut. But there's also a head chef, a scientist, officer, and a soldier. 48-hour sale is currently taking place for 7 Sol, and at the price of Sol today, that's under $100. 1,000 went for sale to the Anybody's holders, 500 in an early bird pre-sale, and then the race is on to 10,000. So I think this is very interesting. This whole launchpad concept that Magic Eden has been pushing for a long time. You can get all the information about this, everything with the whitelist process, all the proper links to the project, everything. There's a countdown timer, a bar showing you how many tokens until mint out, and all that. It is all right there. So whether or not you do end up minting this, again, the whole purpose of doing these shows, highlighting this stuff, is not to promote the project or to get tokens to be sold, because I'll be 100% honest, most likely I'm not going to mint this. But I'm excited about the fact that it is a creative way to blend retail and the digital world. And where they're going to go with this is going to be pretty amazing to me. I'm going to be watching this either way. But the main reason, if I'm going to not mint this, that I won't pull the trigger on this, has nothing to do with everything that I just read or what I'm excited about. It's just, besides nostalgia, am I really in the target market for buying toys? When I think about it, when's the last time I actually bought a toy? So as excited as I am about this, if I make this purchase, it's probably for the novelty and just to experience everything that's being done and built. However, as someone who's constantly reporting on this stuff, interacting with these teams and what have you, either way, I'll get to watch this stuff. I'll be able to share how it's going, what's going on, And it gets me really excited about the future, more retailers coming on board, and hopefully this really plays out, does an excellent job, not only helps to revive the Toys R Us brand, but also will be a case study for future retailers coming into the space so that people don't make the mistakes that were made in 2021 with brands just coming in and trying to ride that hype cycle. While during this time, the quote unquote bear market, when things are down, these brands that are coming in, launching, doing partnerships and so forth, really interacting and building organically within the community, I think are going to do some things that are going to lay the groundwork for the future. But I would love to know, what are your thoughts on this project? I will have all the links as far as where you can check this out. Love to know your thoughts. Please feel free to reach out to me at Tropic Vibes on Twitter. But as usual, I want to thank you for taking time to listen to this as we're learning and building Web3 together. So until tomorrow, later. The Nifty Business Arrow is not investment advice. It provides insights and information within the space. As with anything, please do your own research before making a decision whether you're making an investment or a purchase.